Benny the Beaver's Big Build. In the middle of a bustling forest, there lived a beaver named Benny. Benny was no ordinary beaver. He was the best builder in the whole forest. Whether it was a dam, a bridge, or even a treehouse, Benny could build it. His big flat tail was perfect for slapping mud into place, and his sharp teeth could chomp through logs faster than anyone. But Benny wasn't just a great builder, he was also a dreamer. He loved coming up with wild ideas for things to build. He once made a floating raft for Nutty the squirrel and a cool water slide for Daisy the deer. Benny's projects were always exciting, but one day he decided to tackle his biggest challenge yet. One sunny morning, Benny gathered his friends in the forest clearing. "Everyone," Benny shouted, "I've got a brilliant idea. I'm going to build the biggest, best dam this forest has ever seen." Nutty, Daisy, and Ollie, the owl, all looked at him with wide eyes. "The biggest dam? How big?" Nutty asked, his tail twitching with excitement. Benny grinned. "Huge, so big that we'll create a brand new pond for everyone to swim in during the summer. It'll have little islands for picnics, and even a waterfall. I'm calling it Benny's Grand Dam." "Whoa," Daisy said, her eyes sparkling. "That sounds amazing. Can we help?" "Of course," Benny said. "I'll need all the help I can get." And so, Benny's big adventure began. He grabbed his favorite tools, a sharp axe, a pile of sturdy logs, and some sticky mud, and got right to work. Nutty helped by scurrying up trees, gathering branches and leaves. Daisy carried stones with her strong legs, and Ollie flew overhead, keeping an eye out for danger. Benny and his friends worked all day, chopping, stacking, and shaping the logs. The dam started to take shape, and it looked incredible. But as the sun began to set, Benny noticed something strange. There was no water coming in to fill the pond. He scratched his head with his big tail. "That's odd. There should be water here by now." Ollie swooped down and said, "Maybe there's a blockage upstream." Benny nodded. "We've got to check it out. The whole pond won't work without water." The next morning, Benny led the gang upstream to investigate. As they followed the river, they finally found the problem. A huge boulder had fallen into the stream, blocking the water flow completely. "That's one massive rock," Daisy said, staring up at it. Nutty jumped up and down. "How are we going to move that? It's bigger than all of us combined." Benny thought for a moment, then smiled. "We'll move it together. I've got a plan." First, Benny instructed Daisy to use her strong legs to push against the rock. "On my count, Daisy. 1, 2, 3, push." Daisy pushed with all her might, but the boulder barely budged. "Don't worry," Benny said. "Ollie, fly up and see if you can spot a weak point." Ollie flapped his wings and soared above the boulder. "I see a crack. If we can chip away at that, the boulder might break apart." Benny's eyes lit up. "Perfect. I'll gnaw at the crack and weaken it." Using his sharp teeth, Benny bit into the rock, chipping away at the crack little by little. Nutty darted around, collecting smaller stones to throw at the crack, helping Benny. After some time, the crack grew larger and larger, until finally, crack, the boulder split in two and tumbled into the water. With a loud whoosh, the water rushed back into the river, flowing toward Benny's grand dam. The animals cheered. Benny, soaking wet from the splash, laughed. "Let's head back. We've got a pond to fill." When they returned to the dam, water was already beginning to trickle in. Slowly but surely, it started to rise, filling the area behind the dam. The pond was forming. Over the next few days, the pond became bigger and bigger. Benny added finishing touches to the dam, and soon, Benny's Grand Dam was complete. There was a wide pond perfect for swimming, with tiny islands for picnics and a sparkling waterfall cascading over the edge. It was more magnificent than any of the animals had imagined. To celebrate, Benny threw the Grand Dam party, inviting all the forest animals. There were races across the pond, picnics on the islands, and even a diving contest off the waterfall. Nutty splashed around, Daisy waded through the cool water, and Ollie flew in circles above the pond, hooting with joy. As the sun set, casting a golden glow over the forest, Benny stood proudly by the dam, watching his friends have fun. He knew that building the dam wasn't just about showing off his skills. It was about making something that brought everyone together. Daisy swam over and smiled. "Benny, this is the best thing ever. You really are the greatest builder in the forest." Benny grinned and shrugged. "Ah, it was nothing. Just a little teamwork and determination." Ollie flew down and landed on Benny's shoulder. And a whole lot of beaver brilliance. The animals all cheered for Benny, the beaver who dreamed big and built even bigger. Benny beamed, knowing that his grandest adventure yet had made his forest home a little brighter, a little wetter, and a whole lot more fun. The end.